Space Precinct, Gerry Anderson's fourth and final live-action television series, was launched in 1994.
All right, people, settle down.
Set in the not-too-distant future, the show followed the cases of the officers of the Precinct 88 station house, set in geostationary orbit over Demeter City on the planet Altor.
You fellas are from New York. You don't know really bad neighborhoods.
Two human police officers, Lieutenant Patrick Brogan and Officer Jack Haldane, have recently transferred to the force from the NYPD and are now struggling to come to terms with life on an alien planet.
There's nothing normal here.
At least Zill's normal.
Among their new colleagues are human officer Jane Castle and her Tarn partner Took.
This is what I think you should do.
I'm not listening.
Sergeant Fredo. Bumbling Creon officers Orin, Romek, and in early episodes Beazle.
Hey, Slow-Mo, come to Papa.
And robotic secretarial assistant Slow-Mo.
Who said office work was dull?
While Captain Podley does his best to keep the team running smoothly.
You fellas are going to need a better story than that if I'm going to save your butts this time.
Brogan and his colleagues must keep the streets of Demeter City safe from such threats as alien extortionists, murderous holograms, extra-dimensional alien spores, and unstoppable killer cyborgs.
Oh man, I love this job.
The show's origins actually stretch back to 1986, and a pilot film starring Shane Rimmer and Catherine Chevalier titled Space Police.
I wanna see a lawyer!
This was a hybrid of live action, puppetry, model work, animatronics, and stop motion. And while the final film showed promise, no further episodes would be made.
How do you like them apples?
However, after a few more revisions, the pilot film was able to help attract investors to Anderson's new project, now retitled Space Precinct.
Okay, let's get on with it.
Filming began at Pinewood Studios in May 1994, but the series would only carry over a handful of elements from the Space Police pilot.
Cute.
Among these were the characters of Lieutenant Brogan and Slow-Mo, albeit with both looking very different from their previous incarnations, as Knots Landing star Ted Shackelford took over the role of Brogan.
Here I am.
And while Space Precinct would only occasionally employ the Terrorhawk-style puppetry seen in Space Police, to mixed results, the animatronic alien head masks returned in a big way.
The credit, though, to all the actors and the technicians, and especially the actors inside of them, they make it so believable. You really do, after a while, forget that's what you're doing.
Demeter City would be populated by some of the strangest aliens ever seen on television, with many of the masks incorporating extremely sophisticated radio-controlled animatronics to give a full range of facial expressions to the show's primary alien races, the two-eyed Creons and the three-eyed telekinetic Tarns.
Show off.
Once again, a Gerry Anderson production would claim the title of the most expensive British television series ever made, with each episode costing upwards of £1 million to make.
We lost over 3 million credits on that program, and we still haven't recovered.
But a rushed production schedule meant that Space Precinct would launch without an introductory episode to establish the setting or its characters. Instead, viewers would be thrown in at the deep end and left to work things out for themselves.
Well, as one would say, lovely.
In order to keep things grounded, and perhaps also as a response to critics of his earlier live-action shows, Anderson made sure that Lieutenant Brogan's family life would receive just as much focus as his work.
Mom, he's calling me names again!
However, the Brogan family scenes and subplots would for many fans be one of the least enjoyable aspects of the show, with Brogan only solving the mystery in several early episodes thanks to a random comment from his daughter.
A deceiver unmasked is still a deceiver.
The deceiver unmasked is still a deceiver.
Far more successful in the character department was the will they won't they flirting between Haldane and Castle,
Haldane, if you didn't exist, I'd have to amend you.
and the comedy antics of officers Orin and Romek.
Oh, man!
Many of the writers who worked on Space Precinct were American, and had previous experience of writing for sci-fi television on such shows as Babylon 5 and the various 1990s Star Trek spin-offs.
That's good to know.
Steve Begg would return to oversee the model effect sequences, while composer Crispin Morel would score the first of 3 Gerry Anderson series. The show also enjoyed a run of memorable guest stars, including Stephen Burkoff, Francis Barber, David Burke, Mariam Darbo, and yes, a dubbed Ray Winston as a nameless prison inmate,
Put your hands up.
and an even more dubbed Idris Elba making an early TV appearance as a space pizza delivery guy.
Hot delivery anywhere on Altar, guaranteed.
Get out of here.
For the second half of its run, Space Precinct seemed to become an increasingly confident series, most notably in the script department. Rather than telling police stories that just happened to take place in a sci-fi setting, the show seemed to turn its attention more to sci-fi stories in a police setting.
You are losing me, Officer Haldane.
All right, stay with me.
This subtle but important change in direction dramatically broadened the show's storytelling potential and allowed the series to establish its own identity.
Oh, great timing.
Which also coincided with the arrival of a new character, technical, medical, engineer, scientist, and whatever else the plot needs him to be this week, Lionel Carson.
And what does the world of science have to say about this, Officer Carson?
Not a lot, sir.
Despite the show's increasing focus on science fiction ideas, it still found time to explore such issues as racism, the power of cults, and even a child buying a gun to protect his family.
He didn't buy that gun to break your precious house rules. He bought it because there are people out there who can come into our house, into our lives, and hurt us, or kill us. And he's not about to let that happen, not when he can do something about it.
With Space Precinct, Gerry Anderson had once again produced a series that schedulers found difficult to best position. The appealing aliens, cute robot, and cool vehicles suggested a family audience, but some of the show's more horrific elements were clearly unsuitable for younger viewers, and it often swung from one extreme to another quite dramatically.
I'm going to have to tell Fama that our daughter is dead. And she'll never forgive me.
You think this would be a good time to ask him for a raise?
For its UK broadcast, many scenes were heavily edited, with several having to be reshot entirely in order to eliminate violent images or dangerous behaviour.
They used to make those things with less violence.
Although reasonably well received in the UK and Europe, Space Precinct would ultimately run for just one season of 24 episodes, with the show failing to make any impact in America due to being placed in late night and early morning graveyard slots.
Not good.
Despite this, an impressive array of merchandise accompanied the show, and in the year 2000, Space Precinct took the honour of being the very first Gerry Anderson series to be released on DVD. The show has recently been re-released once again, along with a 4-disc soundtrack set and a brand new prequel comic.
Well, thank you, sir. That's very kind of you.
Yes, it is.
Much like Terrorhawks, the earliest episodes of Space Precinct are often a difficult watch that aren't entirely representative of what the show eventually became.
I'm not quite sure how to respond to that.
But even its weaker episodes still have the benefit of an engaging cast of characters and high production values.
I've never seen anything like this on television. It's really incredible stuff.
Once the series found its feet midway through the run, it consistently offered exciting action and engaging stories. And the show is quite rightly still enjoyed by its many fans.
Weird.
With newcomers to the series also delighting in its offbeat style and outlandish characters.
Gotcha.
25 years on from its first broadcast, Space Precinct remains a unique and highly enjoyable addition to the Gerry Anderson universe.